Ricken Financial presents Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement. Gerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost want to help you reach the retirement you deserve. Let's build a strategy that gives you the confidence while meeting your financial wants and needs. Meet the team at rickenfinancial.com. Now, Kickin' with the Rickens.
Well, it's singular this week here. We are just kicking with a Ricken. Welcome out and thanks for subscribing and downloading Kicking with the Rickens, redefining retirement. rickenfinancial.com. My name is Mark Owens. Heidi traveling this week. Gerry Ricken is here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, bud?
So Heidi is traveling. She's an international traveler this week. But you, because of your eye bubble, not allowed to make the trip.
I am still grounded, Mark. I'm still grounded. So, it reminds me of the old nursery rhyme of winking, blinking, and nodding. I'm blinking because I still can't open that eye a lot. So it's a little annoying, little bubble still in there.
We've been with this. So if you don't know that, Gerry, correct me if I'm wrong, your retina detached.
Correct.
And then through a little bit of, medical attention, you're about it. What do you say, about 70% now, 75%?
No, I'm a lot farther than that. It was 5 weeks ago yesterday when I had my reattachment surgery. Then I laid horizontally for 9 days with my face facing down with one eye closed. But like I always say, laying horizontally with one eye closed facing down is a lot better than laying horizontally with two eyes closed facing up.
Amen, brother.
So everything's relative. Everything's positive. Every day's a holiday, Mark.
We make fun of that a lot. And I say make fun of to your expense. But we talk about your eye bubble. When is this going to pop? When is this going to put you back at 100?
It won't pop. Hopefully it won't pop. But it will eventually just evaporates over time. So it's been 5 weeks, and they said it'll be 5 to 6 weeks. It's certainly not 5 weeks. I'm on the longer side of that. So hopefully by next week, it'll all be gone. But there's just a little annoying bubble that is present when I look through that eye. And it looks like you're looking through Jello, but it's, it is what it is, and it'll eventually go away, and I'll get my eyesight back.
You say go away. Is it like, every now and then you'll be like grabbing something, your shoulder will just pop. Will it be like that where you just feel like a little and
I will just hopefully wake up one day or at noon one day or at 3 o'clock, whatever it is. It just won't be there anymore. I'm hopeful and I'm prayerful that will occur. Yeah. And sooner rather than later would be great for me.
Well, and we don't mean to harp and spend a lot of time each week talking about your eye bubble, but it's the only opportunity I've ever had to talk about an eye bubble. So,
well, it's the only one that I've ever had too, Mark. So I'm happy to converse. I've learned more about eye bubbles than I ever wanted to know.
My daughter loves boba teas, and it sounds like
tea, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a boba tea flavor.
It
Peach,
does.
ginseng,
really
and
does.
eye bubble. So with that being said,
I'll be happy to take my little bracelet with the warning that you need to talk to find the ophthalmologist or the eye surgeon.
That's like
an accident.
That's your medical alert bracelet right there.
It is a medical alert bracelet. It's not a all-inclusive drink bracelet, which I wish I was having right now. But it looks like one.
Hey, were you one of those back in the day? Because I'm guilty of this as well. 18, 19, 20, 21. You go down to Panama City. We'd go down to Cancun. You get the wristband. You go back to high school. You'd leave that bad boy on for days and weeks at a time until it dissolved.
Well, I wasn't one of those people because in high school, we didn't have spring break. And in college, my spring break was, I went to South Padre Island. From Kansas State University. We drove down to South Padre, and we did that a couple of years. So, and those stories will remain untold. You can talk to some of my fraternity brothers. They may share some, but they're all false. But yes, that was always fun to get those things. And then you'd say, hey, look at this.
Look at this. Also, South Padre Island, home of the original eye bubble. So it was a drink that would make on the shores of South Padre. So
that's exactly right.
So with Heidi traveling this week here on Kicking with the Rickens, I think this is a good opportunity to just have a discussion, just a couple of dads talking about our kids and the absolute joys of our life and the most frustration in our lives. There's something special, Gerry, about being a small business owner and working with and mentoring your daughter. There are a lot of pros. There are some challenges. Let's start with the good before we get to the hardships of what you do. So what's the best part about coming into work every day and your daughter is sitting in the office across from you?
The best part, I think, Mark, is just having her here and having her as a sounding board and having her advice and her wisdom. Even though she's significantly younger than I am, like 31 years younger than I am, she is beyond wise. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, one of her undergraduate degrees was in psychology, and that is so fascinating to see how she brings that into the workplace and how she can, just read the room and say, hey, here's what I believe people are thinking, because she can feel it. She can penetrate to those difficult questions that we ask people. And she does it in such an eloquent way. I'm amazed by it. So I just am fascinated by how she can handle herself.
When did you realize, or when did she realize that this is going to be my next step? This is going to be my career? Because we talked about it before in previous episodes in the archives about she didn't want to do this. This was not her original goal.
No.
Did you push her into becoming a financial advisor, or did you let her find her way?
I've learned over the years that when you push your child, they push back. So I've never been one to say, hey, I'd like you need to do this. You need to do this. I just ask politely, hey, would you like to earn a little extra money this summer and come into the office and help me with a few tasks? And that's how it started. And she said, yes, but I'll never work for you. I'll never work with you. I just don't have any interest in your business. And then all of a sudden she became hooked on her own, and she felt the need to help people, because that's what she's always been. She's always been a helper. That's why she got her degree in psychology, because she wanted to be a grief counselor. Then she realized after, going where we spent time at camp each summer, and she had 3 campers one summer who had all lost a sibling that year. And then she realized, hey, that was a tough week, and I don't want to be a grief counselor because I don't want to deal with that every day of my life. I want to deal with a lot of positive things. But she helped those kids because that's something she had been through. Okay. All right. Now I'm back. But she realized, you know what, I can help a lot of people on a lot of things, and I don't have to be a grief counselor. I can still do that on a volunteer basis, but I don't want to do that every day. I want to do something that feeds my soul. That feeds her soul as a volunteer. But now what feeds her soul is helping our clients achieve the goals and the retirement they deserve, because it's all about what you give back and giving back either, through business or through volunteerism. That's what it's all about.
You said it a couple of seconds ago about how she originally came into the office and said, Dad, I don't want to do this. I don't like this industry. I don't want to work in this industry. I don't understand this industry. I had shades of the exact same conversation I had with my father, because my dad was in banking his whole life, and he was a bank consultant until he got sick. And so I would sit at his desk at his house. He was self-employed, a small business owner, and he was literally a party of one. And then I would come in, it was called the Owens Group, and then I would come in and I'd be the group in the Owens Group if I just helped him file papers or whatever. But I remember looking at his desk and seeing all these files and being like, I don't know what any of this means. Like, you're working in banking and numbers and mortgages and debts, and I didn't understand it. But what's so, and where I feel Heidi and I feel you, now I flash forward, my dad's passed away, but now I see where I'm at right now. I'm working in the industry. I'm hosting radio shows, hosting podcasts with financial advisors and wealth managers. I'm starting to get a grasp on what you do to serve the community. I'm like, all those years I said, Dad, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And now I miss more than anything. I wish I could sit down with him and be like, Dad, I kind of, sort of, a little bit, maybe kind of understand what you do now. And it's fascinating.
Exactly. And it's just so much fun to work with your daughter, you know, side by side, because to see her grow, develop, challenge me, there are a lot. There's just so much gratification and satisfaction in seeing your child grow like that.
So let's talk about that. The challenges.
Yep.
Great. Awesome to see her blossom into who she is today. But what challenges come with that as well?
Some of the challenges are just having blunt conversations with one another. If I don't like what she does or she doesn't like what I do, we talk about it. And initially it was a little awkward, but then we said, hey, let's just check our egos at the door, and we're gonna shoot straight with each other. And probably the first time I had to do that, it was more difficult than subsequent times. But those were the initial challenges, and now I really don't see those as challenges. I don't because we have a very open dialogue, and we like to converse, and we like to challenge one another on what we're doing and how we're doing it, and what's the best thing that we can do for our clientele.
Is it hard to leave it at the office? Do you ever take it home? I know she's happily married. When you go over for Sunday dinner, do you leave, shop talk at the shop?
We try to leave shop talk at the shop. Occasionally, and we certainly don't shop talk in front of anyone else in the family because
Yeah.
everything we do is confidential. So, but occasionally we'll go in the other room and say, hey, let's talk about this, blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, work stays at work and home life we enjoy.
So what are your clients? Just some people think it almost see it as a little bit of nepotism, or do most people see this, I love that it's a family-owned business?
They absolutely love. We've never heard anything negative about it. We've always heard positive things, and people are saying this is fascinating that you're working with your daughter. It's fascinating you're working with your dad, and they love the fact that there is a succession plan too. Because I started before Heidi joined me later on, but I've had clients before Heidi got here, and now they're so happy that Heidi's here because they see this thing going on and on and on. Beyond my career.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see this, but on the video right now on the screen, I see right over your head, and that's your father?
Yep.
Tell me about him.
Yep. Dad was an amazing guy. He was a farmer and a firefighter. He became a firefighter after he became a farmer. But then one of the things because he needed a steady income, he was an entrepreneur. He tried everything. And one of his cousins was in the insurance business, and he became an insurance agent at one point in time. In fact, the two documents you see over my shoulders are his two contracts from 1964 and I think 1968 when he was appointed to different insurance companies. He didn't make a whole lot of money in that, but it was enough money to buy some groceries and do those kinds of things and help the family out because he had his hands in a lot of different things.
Sure.
And then you'll see these three documents here. Those are actually life insurance, little postcards of life insurance contracts of the three life insurance policies. His is in the middle. My grandpa, his dad, is up top. And my other grandpa, my mom's dad, is on the bottom. And one of them was for $1,000 worth of death benefit. One of them's for $2,000, and his was for $5,000 worth of death benefit. So you can imagine he didn't make a whole lot of money in that business, but he brought what he could, and his company was actually called Ricken Financial when he did it.
And it's almost kind of like dad, grandpa watching over you guys every day.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
All right, so I know you work with a lot of small businesses across the community. What piece of advice would you give to somebody who wants that succession plan, that wants to work with a child that's maybe coming out of college, wants to jump into the business? What would you offer them?
Well, what I would say is just be patient. Be patient. Don't push. If they do enter the business, they will enter the business. But the more you push them to enter the business, you may get some pushback. But just to talk to them about, hey, have you ever thought about our business? Have you ever thought what this is? Would you like to learn more? And just have a soft approach, because a soft approach worked for me, and thank God it did.
Yeah.
Because if I would have pushed more, there would have been pushback, I believe. Just be patient when they do get there. That, a lot of times you take for granted what you know, and you think that everyone else knows what you know. And I came from an accounting background before I got into the financial business, and I knew a lot about mutual funds, particularly because I was with a huge mutual fund processing company, was in public accounting before that. So I had a lot of basis, and I had a lot of financial clients, banks, mutual funds as clients when I was in the accounting business. I learned a lot. So I knew a lot. I brought a lot of knowledge into the business. When Heidi joined me, she was in retail management. So she didn't have that background. She had a business minor, but a psychology major. And then she's like, okay, what does this mean? What does that mean? So it's a huge learning curve to come in. So you just have to be patient and make sure that everything happens on their own pace.
So I know you don't have a crystal ball, but let's look forward 10 years from now, and Ricken Financial not going anywhere. But for you, Gerry, and for Heidi, are you leaning towards retirement anytime soon? Are you having more fun now than you've ever had? Are you starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel that maybe that might be my time?
I don't see myself retiring anytime soon, Mark, because I love what I do, and I love working with Heidi. And it's fun to see both of us, flourish in this environment.
Yeah.
So I want to ride this ship as long as she'll keep me on before she pushes me off. And she knows that. She knows that I'm not ready to go anywhere soon. But she also forces me to go on trips occasionally with Sheila and say, hey, why don't you guys just take some time, go away, rejuice your batteries. You need to do that no matter what. But I have more flexibility doing that now than I ever had without her.
Also, too, with your health scare from a couple of weeks ago with your eye, Heidi said a couple times when you weren't here that Dad's never going to slow down because you were still working like the day you got out of the hospital. And she pretty much had to say, and the kids had to say, Dad, just relax, take a breath, sit down for a minute. So I think your work ethic is being passed down to the next generation of Ricken Financial.
Well, I hope so. I hope so because I do enjoy what I do, Mark. And when I was laying horizontally, facing straight down, I was on a massage table and I had my laptop folded down so, with one eye closed, and I was reading things and I was dictating, voice to text and that kind of thing to Heidi. And she's like, "Oh my God, Dad, please."
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not 10 years from now, but one day she'll be like, "All right,
One
Dad.
day.
Yeah,
One
Dad,
day.
I
That's
reset
right.
all your passwords. You can't log in anymore. It's time to go enjoy yourself."
That's right.
Well,
That's
hey,
right.
thanks for, kind of being open and honest with us here this week here on Kicking with the Rickens. It's just a couple of dads talking about their kids. Oh, look, my daughter is 11, and right now I'm at the phase right now where she is just the absolute joy of my life.
Absolutely.
And I know I've got about 2 years left.
Enjoy that. Enjoy that while you, yeah.
Yeah, those teenage years are creeping up really fast.
Yeah, and then after those years, then you'll be smart again.
Right now, I'm her superhero. I'm about to be the worst person
Yeah.
in the world, and I got about 6 or 7 years where I'm actually a good guy again. So,
Oh yeah, every phase is awesome.
and I'm
Doesn't
not trying.
matter what they
I'm
are.
not trying to blow smoke, though. I do hope to have the kind of relationship that you and Heidi have too.
Well, I appreciate that, and I see it with you and your daughter too.
Oh yeah, it's because I've got a wallet and a credit card, and she doesn't. That's why. All right, listen, you can meet Heidi, Gerry, and the entire team. Get more information about customizing a plan when you visit rickenfinancial.com. You get more information in the show notes as well. Hey, thank you so much for subscribing and downloading Kicking with the Rickens here this week. Gerry, we got you, so let's finish it up. Every day,
It's a holiday.
life is short.
Laugh hard.
Hopefully that bubble pops soon. Thanks so much for listening. This has been Kicking with the Rickens, redefining retirement.